Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. Personnel meeting.
I need to let them know.
You need to take a roll call, Debbie. Does everybody have the documents here? You guys all got your papers? Chris, you got all your papers?
I do, thank you, Dennis.
Okay.
Thank you.
First item is approval of the February 6th Personnel Committee minutes. Anybody have a problem?
Second.
Motion by Brad, second by
Lori.
Lori. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Objections? Here we go. Standing, no? Okay, moving on. Jake, personnel report. Wait a minute. Before you get started. In this personnel report, if there are something you want to pull out, okay, if there's something not kosher, I recommend that we just pull the whole thing out and not use any names. We got to be real careful here, not to name names in open session. That if there's a problem with the personnel report, let's just pull the whole thing out and then we'll go in executive session.
I think Brad talked about you guys are organized.
Can we? Okay, go ahead.
So we'll have a closed session at 4 o'clock on Monday. Talk about any personnel issues with appointment list.
So are
then
we
we'll be able to vote on it on Monday night.
So we're not going to go through this list now. We're going to wait until. Okay, I'd like to do. I just want to make sure that we don't call somebody out here and
Yeah.
get ourselves into more.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Jake.
Great.
So you have the personnel report, look over it, that'll be what we'll bring to you on Monday.
Okay. Additional pay rates.
Okay, any questions? The additional pay rates, these are the continuing list that we bring to you, and please don't lose sight of what we want to do towards the end of this fiscal year is to be able to condense this list that's big, that's comprehensive over the course of the year and see if we can't come up with more coordinated numbers to where, you know, we should have examples of a full fiscal year of what's usually done. And so if we can condense the list into certain categories for certain amounts and then approve that all up front, then that'll keep us from having to bring this through
That's a
across
great
the year.
idea.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's done. So it's done up front. We can do it around June or the first meeting of the new fiscal year, which is in August, and then we'll have that laid out for the school year.
Excellent, Jake.
Yep.
Amazing.
Nice organization.
That's a
Everybody
big
good
step
with
for
that?
all of that, yeah.
And really, that is a huge step because if you'll combine all those things that's been brought to you over the course of the year, it's pretty
It's lengthy.
comprehensive.
Yeah.
No, you
And I,
did it.
yeah, and I would just add to that too, these additional pay rates are a prime example of the complexity of our current payroll system. And I want to give a big shout out to our payroll accountant, Christy Reed. She is diligent in making sure none of these are being paid. And she goes through the old board minutes, and she's just doing a fantastic job of identifying these things. And Jake is right. There needs to be a big effort moving forward to condense these, simplify them, have them all done in advance. So theoretically, next year, you won't have any additional pay rates coming
Yeah.
forward to you.
Things won't get missed and stuff like that. It's great.
I think it's a work in progress this year, hasn't
It is.
Okay. Administrator contract verbiage.
Okay, I just got this from legal counsel towards the end of the day. Debbie, did the board get those?
We just got them late to,
Okay.
today.
Well, I didn't get them from Steve until it was either this morning or.
Thank you.
Well, you have them good.
I have a question.
Okay.
Because when I was talking with MSBA, she said that on the tenured teachers, that we should not have a number of days. It should just be for the school year. That was a suggestion that she,
Okay.
so I'm just bringing that to your
Since
attention.
it can vary, is that why?
Yeah, she said you don't want to get locked into something because then, yeah.
Well, wow,
I'll have Steve.
who would sign that then?
She said,
Have
she
you
was
seen
kind of adamant about it.
I think that's
Throwing
a.
it out there.
Which one?
Oh, no, I have them, thank you. No, you don't need to
I printed them off because, yeah.
No, I have none.
I did not print them off.
I know at Park Hill that I had that many days on mine too, because it is a way to know this is what I'm working and this is my salary. So, I mean, if it was an open-ended thing, I just wonder the legality of that. That's just interesting.
I have to say, I was taken aback when she said it. I was just like, and I had never seen an actual contract, and I did not, because I couldn't tell you if there was a certain entity in
Is
there.
that good?
And the Board of Education has the ability to obviously adopt the contract that the local Board of Education does have that ability. I'm sure MSBA, that's a standard approach that they give to school districts to allow them. I would recommend that we don't change anything about the teacher contract.
I was just really-
Yeah.
That's
I think-
interesting to note though.
Yeah, absolutely.
and-
But the issue, the greater issue that has been identified to us was that certified administrators were getting teacher contracts. And so that's why Steve and his staff have been working along with MSBA to get appropriate administrator contracts.
What does the vice principal do? The principal one or the administrator one?
It'd be principal,
Okay, just check.
yeah.
I was pretty sure you'd know.
So
I like the,
it's going to be a change for our people. It's going to look quite a bit different for them, but I think it's something that we certainly need to move forward with because of the issues that's been identified over the course of the year with the teacher contract and us utilizing it as a comprehensive contract.
And so this is what Steve Graves.
Yes,
has been working on.
Steve and Nick Robb sent that to me just today and what they're looking at. So take an opportunity, look at it. If you have any more questions between now and Monday, let's get them
Okay.
to Steve.
okay.
And if we need to address it, and if it's not something we're comfortable on Monday, then obviously we can continue doing things the way that we've done them. Even though, you know, I'd rather go ahead and get this one taken care of, but
It's very thorough.
Yeah.
I would think that the administrative people who get these contracts would embrace that they have the expectations in here. You know, if this thing happens, then this happens, and there aren't enough students for the extra duty thing, then this happens, and it's. But there's a lot to absorb in this too.
yeah.
So we can just look at these over
Yeah.
Yeah.
and if there's anything, we can let you know.
Just send our thoughts to you.
Yeah, and Steve,
And Steve.
please.
Okay.
With the expectation that we're going to adopt these Monday night, correct?
Yes.
And this will be in the consent agenda.
Unless there's something that we need to pull out.
If they want to pull something out, we'll do it.
Yeah.
If they got enough time, move
Yes.
it over, that's good.
Yeah, and I would just remind the group that we really need the adoption of this language Monday, because if we don't, remember, we're working back from the deadline of April 15th for contracts, and we couldn't wait until the April board meeting to have this new language added in order to have contracts out on time.
I'd like to, and I probably will, so I'm just going to say it here. I'll take the all consent agenda. Simply because it was one of the things that was mentioned in the audit about administrators having teacher contracts.
Was it?
I think it was, wasn't it?
specifically? Okay.
That
And-
sounds familiar.
And I just think that would be a good time to say, we're addressing this, and this is what we're going to do. I mean, not in a negative way, but just here's another thing that we're working to do.
So you're going to take it off the consent agenda? Okay, okay, sounds good to me.
Well, and we can also explain, it's not supposed to, I mean, it's not a negative
No.
thing for anybody. I mean, it's just changing of a practice that we've done in the past that we certainly need to correct.
And I absolutely, in fact, I think it's a positive thing because of the expectations that are with this too. And actually, the teacher contract that I had at Park Hill was lengthier than the one we have here too. So, I mean, that may be something that we would look at in the future too. I mean, for whatever.
I just have a quick question on this extra duty one. Number 1 and number 1 seem like they're the same, but I think they're supposed to be different because it has the over.
I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't know that he was working on an extra duty one. So that one's fairly new to me also.
I'll ask Steve.
Okay, that one's
And if
new to
it's-
me also,
it doesn't
and
involve me,
and that's
I'll
one
ask.
that we
You know, they just have.
don't have to have done
Well,
to get
that's true,
contracts
that's
out.
true. Well, I'll ask him, and if, maybe it's because one of them is,
Which two do you think are the same?
well, because it says monthly, I thought maybe it was because it wasn't monthly, you'd like pay it all at once, but it looks like
Oh.
it's because
Or, I see that.
one
I
is
see it.
during just the season and one is the whole time, so it looks like.
I would actually rather, looking at this one, I'd rather us not do this one until April because we won't get extra duty contracts out till after we get regular contracts out anyway.
So this is a separate contract?
Yes, it is,
Anyone
extra duty is
who
a
has
separate contract.
Okay, anyone who has extra duties, they sign a
Sounds
separate
good.
contract
For those extra duties, that's right.
Yes.
So, yeah, we
Oh,
wouldn't
right
have to do
there.
that one yet then.
Extra duty is an extra contract, right?
Yes.
Yes.
No, the difference is that one of them is during these dates, like maybe first season.
Oh, I see that, yeah.
And the other
One's
one
a
is the
year.
whole year,
Yeah.
so that's what it is. But they're all paid over 12 months.
Are you okay? All right, salary schedule.
Salary schedules, nothing's,
First one's not-
the only thing that's changed is the addendums that I put on the front of the page, which we talked about all those on Monday night also. Now, the summer school, the summer maintenance salary schedule, that is, we didn't talk about that Monday. That came up in a meeting that we had with payroll, HR, and several other departments across the district. And that we wanted to make sure, it's kind of like that additional pay rate document, and that we get that approved and even part of the salary schedule book before summer actually starts. And it's something that we hadn't done in the past either, so,
Okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, any questions?
I guess my question for the hourly folks, did they not used to have steps and now they have steps?
No, they had steps before.
They had steps before.
You talking about just the summer maintenance?
No, I'm talking about any of these hourly.
She's talking about the main salary schedule.
Yeah, they had steps.
Okay, they had steps before. I just wanted to make sure because I thought someone had told me that they
In
could
fact-
move up.
In fact, now they have unlimited steps.
They ended at 7, I think, nutrition services or
And
something.
that's
They
where the
were one that-
longevity, yeah.
Right,
Okay,
right.
so we have corrected that
Yes.
portion. So
Yes.
there's no longer a stipend for longevity because we have added steps
Yes.
to all
Assuming
of
you
the
guys adopt
sectors.
adopt this as presented on Monday night, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to verify that.
Are you good with that?
Yeah, and I do want us to look at the hourly people though, because I do know that they have lost money since we went to a shorter time frame in school.
Yeah.
Since we added the 20, 22 minutes, whatever it was. I know that there's 10 days that's been taken off of their schedule, so that's 10 days
Yeah.
because they're not adding more to the
And
8-hour day.
that's not all, I just want to clarify, that's not all hourly people. That's hourly people that have less than a 12-month contract. And so it is a small percentage. And I do believe that we did increase some of those rates appropriately. We did our best last year to compensate for that reduction in hours. That's not to say there's a few people out there.
I think there's still.
There might be a
out
few
there.
people. But with the calendar staying the same this year, moving forward, everybody will see an increase because we
I
have
just wanna make
changed
sure.
calendar.
One in particular is the district-owned transportation drivers. And so there's one category of people that, obviously, when we don't have school, there's not that job. You know, there's not that, their duties aren't there. And so,
Well, and it should also be mentioned too that they are hourly employees, so they are working less. And
Yeah.
so their pay rate did not decrease.
they just,
There might be a few people that had their total gross compensation decrease, but again, they are hourly people, and so their pay rate went up. It's just that the time they were allowed to work.
I just know a
Went
couple
down.
of people who've actually talked to me about it, they actually lost several $100s.
and last year
So,
was the first year that particular group of people got put on a salary schedule. Prior to that, they hadn't been on a salary schedule.
so, okay, I just,
But I think, I'd like to do that too, because one of the other things that I looked at is, like, we pay our paraprofessionals like under $11 an hour, but then we pay retired maintenance workers almost $12 an hour. I've retired people to come in to substitute for maintenance. And I'm not saying one job's more important than the other, it's just that a lot of times when we have overcrowded classes, we tend to, the recommendation is to hire a para. When you look at that, $11 an hour, you're looking at an annual income of maybe $15,000 a year, if that much. That is going to be in direct contact with our kids. And so I don't know, yay or nay, if that's fair, if that's what the job, the expectation of the job, that's the compensation for it. But it concerns me because we have seemed to add several paras this year, and I know the thing is it's hard to find a teacher in the middle of the year. I think there's a cost thing too. I just want to look at that. I'll just shut up and just.
No, I think you bring up a good point that can be looked at whenever yeah, the full market stuff.
And I'll say this too, I'm not taking up for maintenance, but in some of those cases, there's specific requirements for those maintenance people. They have to have license to do the boilers or some kind of a special service, and that may be why they're paid a little bit more, because they're unique in the fact they have the certification.
Was it because they're retired?
It could be, and that's the only way you
Yeah.
can get them to come in.
And I think that, because it's retired, I just want to, those that I have direct contact with are students, I just want to make sure that the compensation is for what they do, but we're attracting those people that we want to in there. But you're right, the market analysis, I'm sorry, I forgot about that.
That
Sorry.
market analysis might be where you save a lot of questions. and
Now, have we
it's
voted,
like to rest.
have we voted to approve that yet?
I don't need an approval for the RFP. We, if you have any more feedback, I know Ms. Hodges, you got some to me after Monday nights, and once I get all that compiled, I'll try to get that issued first of next week, guys.
Somebody in Liberty told me never to meet us on Wednesday.
Okay.
Do we vote on that? No?
You don't have to approve, you'll have to approve the bid once
Okay,
it
that's
comes
what I
in.
mean. Is that going to be done Monday? or
Please do.
what?
I
No,
have a little bit of
you-
information.
We
Please do.
won't even get it issued
Please.
till after Monday.
Okay.
I need an update with that. Okay.
April board meeting. Are we planning on approval?
Hopefully we'll have it back by the April meeting.
Good.
Yeah, because the sooner we can get that done, I think, the better.
So when you say that you're looking for more feedback, or what?
Just making sure we get all bases covered
things
of what
that
you
you
want.
want
So
them
are
to
there,
do.
okay,
To the scope of work.
all right.
The scope of work,
Yes.
yes.
I may shoot you a couple
Sure.
things that probably already in there,
Yeah.
but, okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
I just want that discussion.
Okay.
Can you do everything, please? Can you write that out? Please do
Just
everything.
do everything.
Reappointment list, 2015-16.
You guys had that electronically, once again, since it is personnel information. It's not, it won't be public until after approved. So I've got hard copies here, if anybody needs it.
I don't need a hard copy,
Okay.
so you can keep one.
Okay.
You can get mine too.
Just do not have that in my hands.
So the reappointment book, once again, those are just certified, because those are the ones that certified administrator, certified teacher. And then also, you'll see a part of it is, let me get through it. And then teacher reappointments for, that have to be voted on separately because of any kind of relation according to policy.
So do we each individually name these people and say that?
Yes, we'll be pulled, those will be voted on that list, will be voted on separate from the other lists.
But do we have to say that, or is it
No,
just?
Debbie will take you
Debbie
through
will
it.
take
Yep.
it. Okay.
Debbie will take you through it on Monday. And then obviously because of some,
Jake, Lauren's not on here, but Lavelle she's got a teacher contract.
I don't think she's certified, is she?
But she's not a teacher.
She's a social worker.
Social worker, so then she, okay.
I'll check.
Will you
I'll
double
double
check that, because I wouldn't,
Yeah.
because I know that's big enough to get you kicked off, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got it.
Yeah, you don't want to accidentally
No.
have something like that.
He probably would catch it, but,
No, probably wouldn't. Oh, he would.
yeah, he
Yes,
would.
yeah.
He knows, because he's, yeah,
Many years you've been doing it.
many years he has. But just to be sure, because we have lots on our Late Monday.
Okay, I'll look at that. Once again, those lists I did give you are personnel related, so will be confidential till vote's taken.
Okay. How about wellness gift certificate?
Miss Nancy.
Well, Miss Lady, come on over. Come on
So,
over.
I won't just totally throw it into her court. One of the things, I appreciate you coming though, Nancy. One of the things, if you'll remember, and I'm not doing this to pick on anybody because we've all learned things, but from the audit, the purchase of the way that we reimburse or we award, would that be the appropriate wording for it? People on our wellness program, the wellness incentive program, the way that we had done that, the auditors wanted us to sharpen up on that. And so we're bringing this to you for approval, and then I'll let Nancy talk to you more about the overall program because you may not everybody may not be aware of it.
This is a wellness program that we started about 15 years ago. And basically, it's preventative medicine. We have people sign up. We have 8 categories that they have to accomplish in a year. And from taking a physical, dental exam, exercising 3 times a week, attending an in-service, no smoking.
Seatbelt.
Pardon?
Seatbelt too. Did you already say
Seatbelt.
that? Yeah.
No smoking, attendance services. I've got a list of them. Well, I don't think I brought it to you. But anyway, when they do all this, then they get a reward for it. When we first started this, and we started with Heartland, and they would do a health risk assessment. And we had lots of people that have diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol levels. We've had people, because of this program, when you're 50, you have to have a colonoscopy, and you have to have a PSA for men, mammograms for women, and pap smears. And we found people who had precancerous lesions, and they did it because of this program. When we first started and went with Heartland and did the health risk assessment, we had a huge amount of people who were undiagnosed diabetics, and we're picking that up. A couple of years ago, we started that people who get insurance with a school district have to have at least lab work done each year. And we provide that through Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it is free to all of our employees. We even pick it up for people who are not insured with the school district. And I was really for that because I think everyone who works for the school district should have that advantage. It's cut down on absenteeism, people being in the hospital. 10 years ago, the approximate cost of somebody being in the hospital was around $10,000, and I'm sure it's much more than that now. So by keeping someone out of the hospital, we pay for the program.
It cuts down on insurance premiums, right?
Well,
Doesn't it help kind of
if
with
they
that?
do not have, if they're a school district employee and they carry our insurance and they do not have the lab work done, then they have to pay $30 of their insurance fee. But we do provide for them to go in. A lot of people are kind of paranoid about somebody knowing their numbers, and this is why some of them don't do it. Some of them are just lackadaisical and don't get it done, and they'll call me then in September and say, hey, if I hurry up and get it done, will they quit taking the $30 a month, $360 a year? And I keep telling them it's a lot of money, but that's up to them, and that's their choice to do. But it's a wonderful program for our district employees.
Lori, let me answer your question from my eyes. So this program obviously encourages people to live healthy, which in turn, when they participate that, they are going to be healthier, which then results in lower health insurance premiums because we have less costs. So yes, it should theoretically help keep down our health insurance costs.
Well, I think it's great that you're saying that people have to go get these, or they go and get the screenings as being a participant, and they're catching things a lot earlier. So I think that, ultimately it has probably saved lives.
Oh, it does. I mean, we find people every year with I can give some examples of a young man, and people think, well, I'm not old, I don't need to do this. He was 26 years old, 165 over 110 was his blood pressure. And at the time, his doctor didn't want to do anything because it ran in the family. So I made an appointment with the doctor, and he was put on medication. He lost weight. He's off of medication now, and he's lost weight. I mean, there are a lot of success stories, a lot of them.
Do they still come to the school and do this? Because I know years ago they would come to the school and do lab work.
Okay, we do the lab
Can they do
work.
that?
The way we do it now, we have a station set up at Benton Central and Lafayette, and then I also have another one at Traister. So they don't have to travel very far.
Yes.
Where you see substitutes on that list, we send substitutes to the buildings. So if the people want to go, a substitute can come in and cover their class. It takes about 40 minutes from the time they leave until they get back. So we're trying to make it as easy as we can for them.
I think it's great.
Yeah, totally, totally great program.
Hey, before you leave, I've got to ask you, I love that jacket.
Oh.
And I like those bracelets you got over there. That reminds me of my mom. She used to collect, don't she?
Oh, yeah. I like the white.
It is cute. I was thinking that too.
Are there any other questions that you have?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Glad you keep doing this.
So
We're
happy-
going to keep
happy-
doing
But
this.
it's a program that needs to be done. I mean, no matter who's doing it. And people will come up and say, oh, Nancy, thank you. And I say, don't thank me, thank the school district. They're the ones who are doing it for you.
But you do it so passionately, though. I mean, you do. So,
So if we'll just approve the document that's attached there, that will make sure that we're in compliance with everything on the awards and the certificates that are awarded because of participation in the program.
So we have to do these by PO now or something instead of the P card, right? Is that
Yes, that's what,
I wanted to know what the difference was.
Yeah.
No, we can still buy these with our purchasing card. We're coming to you for approval, so we're not in violation of our
well,
policy, right?
there was two things. One, because it's over 15,000 was one of the ones, so that's where we're getting approval here, but we'll have to double check on that one.
I thought
On
the
our
audit
financial
said
manual.
Oh, based on our own
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did too.
credit card
Yeah.
manual, right, okay.
it was our rules about how we used our credit card.
And that's a good point, that those are stipulations we put in place to govern our own spending. And so if we can, there's a lot of benefits, and Bo will talk to you more about this, but there's a lot of benefits in us using credit cards to make big purchases such as, is involved in this. And so,
And we're gonna look,
So
sorry.
tracking down.
You have
to-
to decide what to do.
Because
As
about
we-
that.
as
that
we
is a
move-
place where you can really, there can be some fraud with it when you're,
Yeah.
just someone's got to keep tracking
Yes.
how many gift cards come in and where they go.
yes.
When we implement our new, we'll talk about this in finance more, when our new credit card program, we're gonna revise our employee handbook as well, that monitors and dictates our policy and how those cards are used. And that's what Jake is getting at. And
Great.
We'll
Great.
be chatting about that in the coming weeks and months.
Then that will address the issue.
Yes.
Clean it all
But
up.
if we get, biggest thing, we want to make sure we get approval for these specific expenditures here.
And does it have a line item, separate line item in the budget?
I would say
Yes.
there is.
Absolutely. It's not restricted, but we have a budget every year.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to.
All right. Request for fully funded paraprofessionals.
Yes,
She's here ready to roll.
I'm ready to go. This is a request on behalf of myself and our coordinator of early childhood. Our Tier 3 preschools, those are preschools, classrooms that are 50% students with without disabilities and 50% with disabilities. We have been funding one paraprofessional through early childhood special education. And we've come to realize that we are eligible through DESE to add a para to each of those classrooms and have it be funded. And we would definitely like to
Is
do
that new?
that.
Is that new?
It is new to us to ask for it.
Oh,
Nice.
I like it.
And it's needed. I observed yesterday in a Tier 3, and my observation went from sitting nearby to just sitting on the carpet with the kids. They really
Okay.
need an extra hand. It was pretty apparent. So we just believe it's warranted. In my executive summary, I've listed some reasons. Not all the children are potty trained. We can have children as young as 3. 3-year-olds need lots of attention, and I saw that for myself. So we're just seeking permission to go ahead and ask Desi. post
How
those
many would there
positions.
be?
Children or adults?
How many parents would there be?
Two.
If we got okayed?
Two. We have one in each room now, and where we can fund one more through early childhood special education. So it'd be 3 adults for 12 children.
So we would be getting 3 new parents.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
That is wonderful.
Yeah, they're
Heck
very
yeah.
excited.
Heck yeah, you should do that.
And that's
no
paid
net
for
cost.
through,
Yes, no
Early
cost.
childhood
Through
special
early child.
education, fully funded.
Good.
Benefits and everything.
Benefits and everything?
Yeah, it's no cost to the district. You just
Oh.
have to maintain the caseload
Thank you.
of 12 children in the AM and 12 children in the PM.
And we have no problem
And
with
we have
that.
no problem doing that.
So
They're
the
full
answer is
now.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we can't vote right now for that.
Can you find more positions?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I try to access as
I know you
much
do.
as allowable.
You do.
That's
Okay.
great.
Yeah, it's the best opportunity we have to fully fund.
Excellent.
All right, is she gonna address this next one too? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, 3.0.
This
there.
one comes as a request from Jeremy Burwright, the principal of the Alternative Resource Center. And it's as much as an item of information as consent, I guess, really. He has asked that rather than having the number of paraprofessionals that he currently has, that through attrition we don't fill 2 para positions, but instead have 1 teacher. He really feels like with a good quality teacher, he can provide better service than having 2 paras. So I trust him if he feels like 1 teacher is of greater benefit than 2 paraprofessionals, and I really see no reason not to go ahead and pursue that. I believe the expense is pretty much going to be a wash by the time you take 2 paraprofessional salaries and benefits and put it towards a teacher's salary.
Who has that background in special ed?
Special ed and content.
And content, yeah.
I
He's
think
looking
that's-
for one with social studies so that he would have a teacher then in every content area.
That's a great
That
idea.
sounds, yeah,
I don't know why we wouldn't. It's just,
I agree.
Maybe we had trouble before.
and then he has someone in mind as well, so
Very good.
Oh,
that would be able to do that.
Good.
Good with that?
I'll let him know that. And then I have one other item towards the end, and I will come before.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
That's good work. Without costing.
It's good for our kids. That's
Person
nice. I like about
manager,
things that
I
are,
assume that's you? or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Mom, go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to give you my big speech and justification for why we need a purchasing manager. St. Joe School District is currently operating on a $125 million budget with non-payroll expenses totaling $27.8 million. With health insurance premiums totaling $11,600,000, our total vendor expense is north of $39 million annually. Over the last 12 months, the district paid over 2,000 different vendors via our purchasing card program. The district currently has 151 different employees with the ability to make purchases via their district-issued credit card. Last year, the district paid an additional 2,048 different vendors via our normal purchasing process. That brings the total vendor count to over 4,000 on an annual basis. Currently, the business office only has 1 accounts payable clerk to handle this workload. Accounts payable work is clerical in nature, and with the controller or director of finance overseeing payroll and all other accounting functions, the business office is desperate for a purchasing manager to oversee our entire purchasing process. This is abundantly clear in the state audit report, as evidenced by the 12 different sections of the audit report that identify a lack of oversight and internal controls over these areas. Further evidence of the need for a purchasing manager can be found in the results of our RFP for a new purchasing card supplier. Last March, the district did an RFP and 5 different local banks submitted bids. After the state audit results were released, not one of those banks submitted a bid for our purchasing card program. And as a reminder, Commerce Bank exercised their option under our contract withdrawal from providing those banking services. The need for a purchasing manager is undeniable. Not only is it needed to address our oversight issues, but it should result and will result in improved internal controls, improved internal audit, and cost savings. The purchasing manager will be charged with centralizing the district's purchasing system with an emphasis on maximizing discounts, avoiding late fees, price negotiation, and maximizing potential rebates via the use of the district purchasing/credit cards. The state audit sections that will be addressed and approved upon by our purchasing manager include Section 4, financial condition, our procurement procedures, our bidding process, professional services, engineering services, contracts, contract compliance, disbursements, purchasing cards, cell phones, tablets, and internet service review, our capital assets and our inventory, and review of our fuel use and controls. And so that's my big speech. I also included there a description of the job, which is kind of in draft form. But essentially what we're looking at is approval to move forward with posting this position. Hopefully we will have numerous qualified people apply for the job, and we'll bring it back to the board just as soon as we find what we think is the right person to the board for approval.
I did talk to Bo earlier today, in that, you know, we may not want to, and he agrees, we may not want to limit ourselves just to somebody with a CPA on the job description. So we'll take that one off, that qualification off, to make sure that we get good local qualified candidates, and we're not denying somebody just based on that specific job qualification.
I think that's wise, yeah.
You're casting a much wider net.
I'll ask Bo. The bonds, that person will be over the bonds too, the way those are handled?
Bond compliance or bond
Yes.
issuance. You know,
I
actually,
think that was one of the things in state audit,
Yeah.
some question.
you know, to be honest with you, Dennis, this role that probably wouldn't oversee bonds, I would still oversee that. We have addressed some of the issues that we talked about, that the state audit talked about not having specific cost codes, as you might prefer, lack of better term, to identify those bond issuances. I would still oversee that.
Does that free you up?
Having this job will free me up to do much other things that I'm currently unable to do.
And the other thing is the bids. I don't know if I heard you say.
Yeah, you know, this role will help facilitate all RFPs, and it will take workloads off of Tim McKay, Director of Technology. He'll help with purchase services when it comes to maintenance stuff. Now, those guys are still going to have a hand and say in some of that work, but he'll help centralize that process, and all of that will be funneled through the business office to take workload off of other locations.
I think that that's one of the biggest potential benefits. There's lots of benefits to it, but that's a huge benefit in just knowing that, you know, Tim and Chris, you know, they're not going to be the sole person responsible for writing up and drafting an RFP or an RFQ for all the different things that we have to do that for.
And this person will also be a primary contact for all of our bookkeepers at our schools, you know, our 20-plus schools, Hilliard's, and they'll also be able to provide oversight and training annually, which currently hasn't happened just because we haven't had the manpower to go out and train this staff. And so I'm really, really excited about this. I think this is a huge step forward for our district to start implementing some of the things identified in the state audit. And so
I like to provide consistency in the process
Well, I
of doing an RFP or
Right.
So is this,
Well, it adds to the checks and balances.
Totally.
Never
agree.
had
is this
enough
going to be a
checks and
separate item,
balances.
or we put it in consent agenda?
You know, I don't even,
I think it's a no-brainer.
yeah, I think it's a consent agenda if you even want, if we need board action on it, because really all we're coming to you, asking you, you'll take action whenever we bring the person to you.
Right.
It's not really time for the action,
Right.
is it?
It's up to you.
So you know we've
Yeah.
been talking, oh, go ahead, Rick.
We
Yeah,
can
I
agree to
agree.
hire a person now
Yeah.
through the consent agenda.
you guys are just
Yes.
reorganizing.
Right.
I think that's your responsibility, and then you'll bring to us
Well,
a
that's kind
person
of
or
what I was asking with the reorganization, restructuring that we've been talking about now for quite a while. So there may be some shifting of employees.
Yes.
But this, you think you might maybe somebody totally new.
this is a new person,
Yes.
but we
But not a
don't
new FTE.
plan on adding an FTE.
Can I just this out and whatever you think with it? I totally agree that we could wait until afterwards because you're just bringing us to its reorganization. But would it help get the information out there that you're looking for someone if it was brought up at the meeting? I mean, I don't know, do you want that, do you not? Just tossing it out there, that's all, because I don't know how many people this
We're gonna actively, yeah, we're gonna,
Well,
you know, I don't know if that's really necessary.
Okay.
I think that.
Those are your circles.
I
Teacher
think the
circles
mo-
I know, but.
I think the news is gonna cover it anyway, and probably even maybe tomorrow. But we're gonna advertise it
Fair enough.
here, probably even in Kansas City. But we'll I don't know if we need the publicity or not, but.
Fair enough. You guys make that decision, because that's not my circles to.
And so once this is put out, how long does it normally take to?
Well, we'll have to at least leave it open for 2 weeks, and then at least 2 weeks.
And just kind of see from there.
And then, you know, if we've got qualified candidates, we'll go through the process to hire. I mean, it could potentially be,
Ideally, we'd have it by April, no later than May. Sooner the better.
So you're looking at posting this
Next week. What? Yeah.
after the board meeting? Is that what you're looking, okay, just want to know when, so right away?
Yes.
Good.
So we possibly could have something for the
could.
I hope so.
Okay.
Sounds like the sooner the better.
But somebody for hire, we doubt if we'll have somebody in that position because likely they'll have to give their 2 weeks and all that. So.
But someone we can vote upon.
Yes.
Good.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you, because that does address those many areas.
Other staffing?
Just wanted to bring the board up to speed on a few things. This week we conducted some elementary interviews, and so what we do is we don't know totally. We know we've got elementary openings, but since contracts haven't come out and we haven't gotten them back in, we don't know exactly how many. So, yeah, teachers. I'm sorry. So we had a panel of people that did some elementary teacher interviews. We wanted to do it early in the season. That way we make sure we get the highest quality candidates. And so what we have is we've offered jobs to 12 of 41 candidates that have been interviewed. Brian, do you have anything else to say in regards to this one?
No, just if the board wants me to talk about what that process looks like, I'll be happy to, but otherwise, no. It's
Go ahead and tell
typical.
them about the
Yeah,
process.
I would like to know, because I know a
We
couple
have
that
no
have the letter of
idea.
intent, and so it's been a long time since I went through that process.
So when folks looking for a job, they apply with this, and so what we do is we have teams of people then that circulate the interviews. So they set up interview days, and they typically go over 2 days, over a 2-day period. And these people will come in 2 at a time, 2 candidates at a time, and one candidate will go to one team of people that there's probably 5, possibly 6 principals in there that they're talking to them about possibly all instructional stuff. And then when they're through with that group, the 2 will switch and they'll go over to another group of 5 or 6 principals, and they're talking more about classroom management and philosophies and that kind of stuff. And so the team individually has a scoring guide. Each individual principal has a scoring guide, and they're scoring them through the interview as they're asking questions. When they get done, they submit their sheet, and then they have someone who is tallying all the scores for those individuals. After they've done all of their interviews, they have multiple score sheets, and somebody then tallies them all up, and they rank them by the highest scores down to the lowest. And so the 12 that Jake just talked about were the 12 highest scoring people through that interview process. And prior, though, to them sending out the letter of intent to those 12, the group of principals gets together that did all the interviewing, and they literally will walk through every single one of them and say, so if these are the 12 that were the highest scoring, would every one of you in this room be willing to accept this person as a teacher? And if anyone was to say no, then they have a conversation about, well, when I interviewed them, or they're a student teacher in my building, or so lots of conversations. After they get all through that, they identify the 12 highest, and they submit a letter of intent to those 12.
Okay.
And those 12, we know that we're going to be
Yes,
able to
yes,
fill
we know.
12. I mean, you
Yes.
would, okay. All right.
But if we
And
have
when we
any-
get close, we stop until we have
And then
the
you-
actual positions open.
So then if you have more positions, do you then go to,
We can either go deeper in the pile, or by that time you may have more applicants, and you interview those first.
okay, that's
So
And
this is
those
just
people
a
may have
way-
accepted somewhere else as well that
Very
you didn't
possibly.
choose.
I can tell you that of the 12, we offered a letter to all 12 responded with, absolutely, I'll take it. So that's good. These are the 12 highest scoring people.
you've got some good ones.
Yeah.
So,
Good ones
also
coming.
secondary job offers are 1 of 5, math 1 of 3, PE 1 of 11, preschool 2 of 6, science 2 of 4, and special education 4 of 8. So Those are where we,
Oh,
those are other
Letters of
positions.
intent too?
Yes, yes.
okay, I couldn't, the
The
numbers I
elementary
didn't
jobs,
understand.
That's
Four
just
of eight, huh?
K6 across the district, those were the other breakdowns.
That was their board name,
4 of 8.
7 and 9. Never mind.
Thank
Star
you.
Trek reference.
Thank you, Jake.
See? Thank you, because I wasn't for sure.
I wasn't sure
Can
where
we
we were
get
going
Denise
with that.
back up here?
Go do that.
Occupational therapy for 15-16.
Yes, this is an item of information. It really won't change our cost, but I want to explain how we're going to go about doing things differently. We have always had 4 occupational therapists working with the district. 2 were full-time employees, and the other 2 were contractual staff. We paid them by the hour. They had been long-time contractual people with the district, but as you're aware through the state audit report, they have recommended that we should have been bidding those out at least every 3 years. And I had not been because they had been just long-time contractual people. We thought of them as employees. As this year has kind of rolled out, we have lost Martha Hendricks, a longtime contractual employee for early childhood special education, passed away in January. So that position is vacant. And then Warren Vincent, one of our full-time employees, is getting married and has resigned to, she and her husband will have a home someplace else. So what I would like to do, since Martha's position was fully funded by early childhood special education anyway, and I have very good local applicants of occupational therapists, to make all 4 positions employees of the district. That I think there's value added in having district employees versus contractual, and then it would also address the concern of the state audit that we won't have to continue to rebid, risk losing maybe good contractual people, since I just think if we could move more towards, in my field, to have district employees, I think that would be a benefit to us and the kids. And
Add stability.
it would add stability. I think there's just a stronger relationship, I think, when you have an employee versus contractual. And that also takes away a little risk. Most contracts are written where either party has a 30-day out, and so there's always small risk there that they may give 30 days notice, and then we would be back seeking a new contractual staff. So you're in agreement. I would like to just go ahead and move in that direction, since I have good people out there.
You have people that you know in the community, or people that are already teachers doing that? No, tell me.
They're people in the community.
Okay.
So we wouldn't be taking the contractual people and turning them into employees?
One of our contractual staff is interested in becoming a
Oh,
full-time
okay.
employee.
Still
I guess
go
that's
through
good,
that
okay.
process.
So, gotcha.
Is there
Now that
much
makes-
difference in cost, whether contracted versus
In the long run, no, in the sense that Martha's position, the early childhood special education position, is fully funded. Once that person only has to serve 35 students, and that's easily met. So there may be a little cost difference by the hour, but their hourly rate has been $60 an hour. So I don't think it's going to, if it's much more, it's not going to be that significant.
It's not significant.
To me, it's worth whatever difference it would be to have full-time employees rather than continue seeking contractual staff.
I agree.
Yeah.
These are occupational therapists.
Yeah.
Where do we have those folks?
They are itinerant. They serve students in all our buildings.
So they move around to
They move around. Carden Park has, that building was crafted in a way that there's a small office space and therapy space there for them. Likewise at Oak Grove. And then there's office space for them if they need it at the Alternative Resource Center. But pretty much they work out of their car and just take their materials with them building to building.
I think I saw one coming into trimming. Do they do all the levels?
They would. There is a program there for students with significant cognitive disabilities.
That's right, it's the little kids downstairs at trimming.
Both. There's middle school students there that would have a need for an occupational therapist, and there's a preschool downstairs.
Thanks.
Denise, good job.
Alrighty.
But you always do. Okay. course name changes for Hilliard.
Yeah, what that one was, we inadvertently left that off the regular February board meeting agenda, so just taking it back. It went to Curriculum and Instruction Committee on February 2nd. We left it off February board meeting. Coming back to you all.
That's
to go-
why, I wondered, why are we seeing that again?
Coming back to you all to
Okay.
make sure it goes through committee to get put on consent agenda.
Yeah, we want to make sure they know we're not neglecting them.
Oh, yes, I remember those, yes.
All right, whatever the SAO audit report.
Okay, state audit reports. You know, I won't just go into the depth in which we can go on personnel report, but I want to make sure the board understands that, you know, we continue to chip away at items that are mentioned and focusing on the personnel and the HR-related items. Continue to chip away on these in regards to district compensation, item 1.1 and item 1.2. We keep getting closer with doing the market study analysis. Obviously, we got last May and June, we took some steps in the right direction through making sure everything was everything was approved through the salary schedules and then also the additional pay rates. So all those things, HR related, fall into that category. Also, we looked in depth on Monday you'll have more MSBA policies that deal with personnel that will continue to come through both policy committee and personnel committee. And so just not losing sight of that, we did get it updated today. And is it updated on the
It will be
website?
updated Monday morning.
Monday morning will be updated on the website, so.
With the things
action
that we've
plan,
done?
Yes,
Okay.
with the things that we have gotten done this week regarding the state audit report.
Thank you, that is really helpful to have that out there, because I could just tell people who ask, what have you guys been doing? Go to.
It's there, and we're trying to provide as much documentation on there without it becoming an essay in itself.
Okay, well, before I entertain a motion to adjourn, I just want to say personally, as chairman of the personnel committee, I want to thank Dr. Long and all of his staff and Bo, the whole group, for all you've done to hold the fort up through all this turmoil. You've done a great job, and I just want to say thank you.
You can't, it's not one single person. I mean, I continue to tell this to people, and that, you know, regardless of the problems that we have 11,500 some kids that's showing up at school every day. We've got over 2,000 employees that are pouring their life into, you know, those kids, and got a great group of people here at this building that continues to step up to the plate when adversity is being thrown at them. So it makes it a whole lot easier when you've got a great group of people to work with.
Well, you're a good leader.
And being here, you guys, especially at this place, you've had to pick up a lot of it.
Yep.
So, thank you.
Now, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Whoever.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
No.
Opposed?
I mean, I.
She wants to keep that meeting.